even in a struggling economy with soaring gas prices, it seems that Americans are still eager to get out there and travel. And I know that Expedia, who you've teamed up with, has done some research that would seem to confirm that. For Traveling with Sweeney, friends that are listening this morning, I'm talking to Taylor Hartzell on the phone, and she's the lady who writes the hugely popular and informative Hip Travel Mama blog. So she's, as I mentioned, teamed up with Expedia to share some tips on traveling and saving money. And it seems especially appropriate with spring break upon us right now. So, Anne, what do you think about that? How are Americans dealing with the hard times when it comes to making vacation plans?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was really encouraged by this Expedia survey because, like you and me, we both love to travel. And it's exciting to hear that Americans actually are not giving up their travel plans. They're actually just getting smarter and savvier about where they spend their dollar and where they're going. One of the other interesting insights was that the Great American Road Trip is actually making a comeback. So we all have visions of our, families when we were growing up, a cross-country road trip, something that people are looking at this year. And sites like yours and mine and Expedia, really looking for places to get inspired on where to go, where to stay, and using technology tools to find great deals.
And where are some of those spots that you would say are really hottest as destinations for a road trip?
Well, it's interesting. People are looking at national landmarks. So you think about those quintessential, beautiful trips with your families that create memories. Going to New York City to see the Statue of Liberty. People headed to your area to see the Golden Gate Bridge. Gorgeous. There's trips all around us. Even in our backyard, we're able to find pretty great trips without going too far.
Right, and road trips have certainly always been a big hit with me ever since I was a little kid, and even today I love taking them. But what about those gas prices?
Yeah, gas prices are definitely something to be considering. But the interesting part is that the survey data also showed that the trips that people are taking are shorter. So they're taking shorter road trips but staying longer in their destination, which is super smart because it saves on gas money. And it also allows a lot of flexibility for last-minute trips. There's great, data that shows that flight prices, while they might be a little bit higher, one thing to save some money if you do want to fly somewhere is to look at bundling your hotel and your airfare together. The Expedia data shows that $500 is about the average that you can save if you bundle those together to find a great vacation package.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. What about being flexible as well? I mean, it seems that that's when I'm trying to get the best airfares for a trip, it always helps if I've got some room to change my dates and whatnot.
Yeah, being flexible can be the biggest tool in your tool belt, right, when you're shopping for travel, because it allows you to jump on those last-minute deals, to hear about airfare, sales, to change plans, or if you had no plans at all to travel, you could find a last-minute hotel deal that would say, let's get out of town for the weekend. So being flexible is definitely the way to find good value on your trips.
When it comes to the spring break weeks that are coming up here, I know that spring break, the timing on it depends on particular schools and locations. Are there some weeks that are better than others when it comes to finding the best deals out there for families?
So the interesting thing about spring break is it rotates and rolls all across the country. So it's really hard to tell. Like here in Seattle, a lot of our spring breaks are in mid-April, and even a lot of West Coast and East Coast spring breaks are starting right now. So it is hard to tell what weeks are the best to find deals. But if you haven't made your spring break plans yet, the greatest thing you can do is go to sites like Expedia, search for last minute deals to places that you want to go, and you might just find a little spring getaway isn't as out of reach as you may thought it might been.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes it's just going ahead and taking a look. Don't be afraid to at least research the situation. You might be pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely.
What about other, you've mentioned Expedia, of course. We know that's a great resource for getting information and finding deals. Are there other ways that you find the technology can and using the web can really be helpful?
Yes. So blogs like yours, blogs like mine, right? A lot of people flocking to those blogs to get inspiration on where to go and where to stay and travel inspiration for different experiences. Social networks actually are playing a big part in people's decision-making processes as well. If you think about the survey had said that 50% of people actually look to their social networks such as Facebook and Twitter to get inspiration on where to go. And these apps, I mean, our little smartphones that we get to carry with us are invaluable for travel information, for finding deals, for finding maybe those cheap gas prices when you're on the road. There's so many things that you can do now that allow you a lot more flexibility when you're planning your trip.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And what about other, travel planning resources? What do you find that it can be beneficial for either an individual or a family in dealing with a planner, a travel planner?
Yeah, so certainly we have lots of options to book trips. There are so many available resources online to be able to research and book your own trips. And then sometimes local experts can actually be a great resource. Expedia has a localexperts.com site that connects you directly with local experts in that destination. Because as you know, finding those really unique experiences can often take a lot of local knowledge and complex itineraries as well. So I encourage you to seek out those local experts and figure out, what are the experiences that are unique to your family and the trip that you want to take.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And if I could just ask you a couple of questions about specific types of, hot locations right now and places you recommend, for deals. What are your opinions on cruises, for instance? That seems to be a big draw for people. And also, I'm curious about your thoughts on travel to Mexico, particularly as a person traveling with family.
Sure.
We've all have heard concerns about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So safety is a concern for a lot of people. Makes complete sense. Is never been a better time to book a cruise right now. Lots of great deals right there. I actually took our first cruise last year. We went on the Disney Dream. We had a blast. We felt very safe. And we got, there's great deals happening. They're just launching, the new Disney cruise this year. Lots of choices for cruises. Mm-hmm. In terms of travel to Mexico, I mean, you have to check with the State Department for those specific guidelines and just be smart about where you go. There are families that I know that just got back from midwinter break and took a trip to Mexico in popular areas. So it's really up to you and your individual family to decide what works for you.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And it kind of leads me to another question as well regarding your opinion on travel insurance, especially traveling with a family. I guess there's a lot of different things in play there. Is that something you recommend?
So I am not a travel insurance expert. However, I can say from personal experience, there's been times when I have, purchased travel insurance if I felt like my plans might be canceled. So it's always something to investigate, and you have to weigh the pros and cons of the extra cost with the, where you think your family will be in terms of needing to cancel or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And being that you do travel with your family, and quite often I understand from looking at your blog, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I think the children are never there's never a time better than right away to get them out traveling. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of people look at that differently. What do you see? How do you inspire others to go ahead and get the kids on the road?
Well, I say there's no time like the present to start traveling with your kids, because the more they travel, the better little travelers they will be. We started traveling with my oldest when she was 6 months old, and we have continued to travel, and she's quite comfortable on an airplane now. Mm-hmm. And my youngest is getting there too. And yeah, it is not comfortable sometimes, and you just have to be able to create, lots of distractions, make sure that you roll with the punches, and just keep doing it, because it does get better as they get older.
Absolutely. I think those are really good words of advice. And are there any other thoughts you've got, things that we, that might be helpful regarding deals and travel tips right now.
Yeah. I guess the biggest piece of advice that I'd give is if you look at your annual budget, please make travel a priority. For us, for our family, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here because I know that you do as well. We make travel a priority. Maybe we skip that big TV upgrade purchase and we put that dollar towards these experiences because our kids grow fast and these are the memories that they're going to remember when they grow up. So these experiences are worth investing in. So I highly recommend making travel a priority.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Anne.
Yeah, thanks for having me.